Let's take a look at Build Rules version 2, an upgraded feature included in ShiftLeft CORE's Velocity update. Build rules allow teams to set security criteria against which a build can fail. The most notable improvement from version 1 is the ability to trigger rules based on CVEs detected by Intelligent SCA. You can further specify attacker reachable packages only. Let's take a look at an example. In the ShiftLeft YAML file here, we see two rules. In our example, the user is particularly concerned about cross-site scripting. They already have security debt of 8 of these vulnerabilities and want to break the build if any more are added. The first rule looks at custom code vulnerabilities, those with severity of critical or moderate, and further filters by type for cross-site scripting. It also sets the threshold at 8 to account for our security debt. If any new cross-site scripting vulnerabilities appear, in addition to the 8 that are in our debt, the build will break. This type of rule could be created in Build Rules version 1. For the second rule, we are looking for attacker reachable open source vulnerabilities. The finding type is set to open source vulnerability, and attacker reachable is set to true. The threshold by default is 0, meaning the build will break if any attackable open source vulnerabilities are found. We'll go ahead and use the default. Setting rules on open source vulnerabilities is new to Build Rules version 2. Let's take a look at the results of a scan in the pull request. Here we see that ShiftLeft is checking analysis against 2 build rules. We also see that the first rule has failed. It has found 9 vulnerabilities compared to our configured threshold of 8. That means a new cross-site scripting vulnerability has been added to the code. The second rule has failed as well. Our threshold was 0, but the Java demo app that we're scanning here has 44 attackable open source vulnerabilities. These vulnerabilities are particularly strong evidence that there is real risk in the build. Attacker reachable open source vulnerabilities include known CVEs and the evidence of a data flow that connects the package to an attacker controlled input. Anybody with access to the pull request can click into a finding to see why the build was broken. Here we see the CVE along with its risk score, and we see that the package is reachable in 14 findings. Clicking any of these findings shows us the data flow that proves that the package with the CVE and any other CVEs is reachable from an attacker-controlled source and therefore findable and exploitable. If you want to see this feature for yourself and play with our Java demo app, you can create a free account at shiftleft.io/register.